So what kind of documents do I need to assemble if I'm selling my business? My name is Andrew Ayers. I'm a business law and estate planning attorney with offices in Edina, Minnesota and New York City. Today we're going to take a quick run through a list of 16 different types of documents that you probably want to put together if you're getting ready to sell your business. Now, when it comes time to sell your business, there's a lot of advice you're going to need to get from the right people. You want to work with your accountant, you want to work with a financial advisor, you want to work with all the people involved with the finances for your business, because if you're trying to sell it, we want to make sure you're getting the right price for it. You don't want to have to take a discount because you missed some documents or you can't prove the true value in your business that the buyers are looking for. Sometimes this transaction will be a very formal transaction, like you work with a business broker who puts your business on the market. We have to disclose all of the different financials. They send it out to a variety of different possible purchasers, and then in the end there's almost like an auction to see who's going to buy your company. Other times it may be you've been working for years and you've had a trusted assistant who's ready to take over the business and you're ready to retire. So we're doing a very friendly transaction. And in that case, your assistant probably knows a lot of the information, probably knows a lot of the info about the value of the business, what's good and what's bad. And so you may not have to produce as many documents when it comes to that. But no matter what kind of transaction you're in, I usually run into about 16 different types of documents that we always want to make sure we're locating to see if they're available, and in which case we can use them to aid in the sale of your business. So let's just dive right in. Number one is going to be financial statements. In every transaction when you're selling a business, you want to make sure you're looking at financial statements. You want the balance sheet, the income statements, your profit and loss statement. You want anything that shows the financial health of the business. Nobody wants to buy a business that isn't financially healthy unless they're using it for a loss on their taxes. They may have some ulterior motive, but if you're looking to get the most money possible for your business, you need to plan on having the financials ready and financial statements put together with your accountant and your financial advisor to demonstrate to all the prospective buyers what the true value of the business. Flowing from number one to number two, tax returns, same principle. Any buyer is going to want to see the tax returns for your business and make sure if it's a profitable business that the right aspects are located on the tax return. If we have assets that are being depreciated over time, the buyer's going to want to know what they are and where they are in that depreciation process. So we want to make sure you have your tax statements available. Another reason is if you haven't filed tax returns in six or 7 years, the business may have been dissolved by your state and there could be a huge back tax liability that's owed to the government, and that can really affect the price that you'll fetch for your business. Number three is going to be your business contracts. Do you have contracts with your suppliers, with your customers, with your clients? Whoever you have contracts with, any buyer's going to want to see what those contracts say and how long they last. So if you have a 10-year contract with a supplier, that's a very good thing if the person buying the business wants to keep things steady. But maybe they have their own supplier in mind and they want to move to them within a year or two. Well, if that contract says it's only good for another 90 days and then you can opt out, that may also be something that they're looking for as a buyer. So you'll want to go through all the different contracts and get an idea of what the business is bound to under the contracts going forward and for what length of time. Number four, legal documents. We want to see the operating agreement, your shareholder agreement, licenses, permits, patents, things like that. We want to see what the company owns, and we also want to know how it's set up. So you don't want to enter into a transaction if you're the one buying the business and find out the seller only owns 10% and that there's 90% owned by other people, because then you need to go to them and make sure they will actually approve the sale. You also need to check the agreement to see what the terms of sale are in an operating agreement or shareholders agreement. Maybe it requires all 100% of the owners to vote yes. Others may only require 51%. They may have a valuation process built in. So those legal documents can be very important when you're trying to determine what the value of the business is. Number five, we want to look at employee and HR records. We want to see what payroll looks like. We want to look at benefits. The buyer needs to know what they're taking on as far as employees. Are they on long-term contracts as well? Are you just working with independent contractors who can be let go at the end of the month? There can be a variety of different ways we work with our employees. Number six, an inventory and an asset list. Once again, this goes into all of our financial documents. We want to see what does the business own, what kind of assets it has. We want to see whether it has liabilities. Does it have a bunch of equipment that has either mortgages or liens against them? So we want to know what the inventory of the business is and what kind of assets it has. Number seven, the business plan. Now this isn't totally as important as some of the other documents, but if there's a long-term plan and it's been updated and we have a really good business plan that we're showing to potential investors, then those buyers will want to see it as well, so they understand what the long-term prospects are for the company and also what people dealing with the company believe the future of the company will be in that business plan. Number 8, a customer and suppliers list. So if you're importing products and they're all coming from China or they're all coming from Japan, maybe they're coming from Australia, we know that we have overseas suppliers versus if we have all of our product coming from Ohio and Nebraska, we have more local suppliers. It's good when you're purchasing a business to know where those supplies are coming from so you can anticipate any challenges you may have going forward. Number 9 is going to be financial projections. What are the projections for the business going forward? Was last year just a really great year and you're expecting things to drop off again? Or is the business on a hockey stick kind of growth curve where it's been going pretty steady and now is going right up? Whatever that financial projection is, buyers are going to want to see what the anticipated revenue is going to be of that business going forward. Number 10, due diligence. There's a variety of different documents you can ask for, contracts under negotiation, especially if the company is either in a lawsuit or if there's a lawsuit that may be filed. We want to know as part of our due diligence process because usually that lawsuit is going to stay with the company if you sell and the buyer's going to want to know about it. Number 11 is going to be non-disclosure agreements. Now these have been falling out of favor depending where you are. There's non-compete agreements, there's non-disclosure agreements. A lot of these restrictions on employees being able to leave and take clients to other places have been thrown out by various courts. Non-disclosure agreements will go to whether or not you're sharing potential information that's private with the company to other service providers for you, or so potential buyers will want to see, first of all, what those are with other people, but you also as a seller want to have a non-disclosure agreement with the buyers so that they don't take what they're learning about you as part of the process and then use it in the industry with another company. Number 12, a transition plan. So if you're selling your business, what's the plan? Are you going to be leaving the day after the sale is completed? Are you going to be staying on for a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it may be? You need to make sure you have a transition plan in place for the post-sale period. Number 13, insurance policies. We want to know what kind of insurance the business has. Is there any key person insurance tied to employees? And if so, if that employee will be leaving as part of the transaction, we'll need to update those insurance policies. And then there's E&O insurance and other types of standard insurance for a business that you'll want to make sure you're producing so that the buyers know that the business is properly insured. Number 14, environmental compliance records. This isn't always common in, for example, like a marketing business or an online sales business, but if it's a manufacturing business or it's a brick and mortar business, if there's environmental concerns, we want to make sure you're keeping good records that you are being compliant. Number 15, licenses and permits. So if it's a business that requires a license, like a lawyer, you want to make sure all the lawyers involved are up to date in their licenses. Nobody's been disbarred, nobody's suspended. If you're operating and you need sales tax permits, we need to make sure those are all in place. So we want to have all of that put together for the buyers so they can see what's going on with the business and that it's complying. And 16, customer feedback and reviews. This is a category I like to add to the process where I can because we want to find out, what do customers think of the business? Is it getting good reviews? Are there a lot of complaints? Because if there's a lot of customer service complaints and you're buying a business, you know that maybe that's the area you're going to have to focus on after the sale to get the business up and going and to keep it growing, as opposed to a lot of customer service complaints or problems with the products that you might not know about if you just look at the balance sheet. So that's kind of a longer list than we're used to doing in these videos, 16 different types of documents. If you have more questions or you're in the middle of selling your business and you don't have a lawyer helping you yet, you can go to my website, andrewmayers.com. There's a red legal strategy session button on the front page. If you click it, you'll be taken to a scheduling page. We can set up a 15 or 20 minute legal strategy session to talk about where you are in the process with you and your business and what are some next steps and some other documents you need to assemble. If you like this video, you can hit the like or the thumbs up button below. You can share the video online. You can go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel for future episodes. Thanks for watching.